a new day. If not, do understand and get that your day, night, honey, wherever you are, is going to get better once your perception gets better. If you are new to my channel, my name is Dina Bryant. I do these inspirational videos. I do a little shopping here and there. Okay. And tonight I had received the book that I had ordered. Okay, The Magic of Thinking Big. I had heard so many people talk about this book, and I was saying I was gonna order it probably for a few months now, and then what was it? I think last week, I just said, I'm getting this book. Okay, all right. And this book so far is good. I just went downstairs and picked it up. Okay. And what I do at times, I have another book on my bed right now. And this book is the Prosperity Bible. Okay, so this is pretty much like how my bed majority of the time looking, I may have like a few books on my bed that I'm reading pertaining to personal development. Okay. But this book, okay, it talks about how to develop the power of belief. I remember hearing, I believe it was Bob Proctor who was a part of the Secret. Okay, if you guys don't know, the Secret or anything like that, pretty much, it was a movie. Well, it is a movie that talks about law of attraction. Okay. But the primary law of law of attraction is law of vibration. Okay, that is the first law of vibration. Okay, you attract what you are vibing to. Okay, how your vibration is. All right, and so I remember hearing Bob Proctor talk about belief, like you have to believe, right? And I remember one day I was in the supermarket and I was like, how do you develop belief? Like, how do you create belief? Or how do you just start believing, right? And I know from repetition and stuff like that, right? From you reading the books or from you listening to the personal development over and over and over again, you are reconditioning, you are changing your mindset. Okay. And so I'm gonna just read you guys what it says right here. It say how to develop the power of belief. Here are the three guides to acquire and strengthen the power of belief. One, think success, don't think failure. At work, in your home, substitute success thinking for failure thinking. When you face a difficult situation, think, I'll win, not I'll probably lose. When you compete with someone else, think, I'm equal to the best, not I'm outclassed. When opportunities appears, think I can do it. Never I can't. Let the master do it. I will succeed. Dominate your thinking process. Thinking success conditions your mind to create plans that produce success. Thinking failure does the exact opposite. Failure thinking conditions the mind to think other thoughts that produce failure. Remember yourself regularly that you are better than you think you are. Successful people are not Superman. Success does not require a intellect, nor is there anything mystical about success. And success isn't based on luck. Successful people are just ordinary folks who have developed beliefs in themselves and what they do. Never sell yourself short. Believe big. The size of your success is determined by the size of your belief. Think little goals and expect little achievements. Think big goals and win big success. Remember this too. Big ideas and big plans are often easier, certainly no more difficult than small ideas and small plans. You don't know what these books be doing, okay? What these books be doing to me. So it's so true, okay? Sometimes in life we like, well, I'ma just ask for a little, and it's so funny. It's so funny. Oh my goodness, it's so funny. You know how you get this when you get like the dots just be connected, okay? They just be connected, right? All the books that I read, they all go together. Like they all, and I understand like why successful people will recommend the books that they normally recommend, right? And majority of the time it's the same books. Okay, is the 7 habits of highly effective people. I think it is. I have in my closet. The Magic of Thinking Big, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wallace. Ask and It Is Given by Jerry and Esther Hicks. It's pretty much Dale Carnegie book, how to be of influence and win friends. How to win friends and be of influence. Probably got the title a little backwards. But it's all the same exact books, okay? And one of the things, As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, all the books, they go hand in hand together and they all talk about the same exact thing, okay? And when I say they all talk about the same exact thing, they all talk about the power of thinking, okay? If you think you can't, you already cast yourself out. You already cast yourself out before you even got started. If you tell yourself, oh, well, I'm not going to get that job, you're not going to get it. Okay? Because one of the things that you have to understand, and sometimes, you know, a few years ago, I used to feel like I was attracting people based upon, well, guys, I was attracting guys based upon the way I was dressed, right? And be all put together and stuff like that. But what I come to realize, and I start understanding, you don't attract people because of the way you dress. You attract people because of your energy. You attract people, and get this. I know some people gonna be like, oh my goodness, right? Get this. What the heck was that? And get this. Before you meet the person, okay, before you meet or get into the relationship with that person, you already attracted them. And I know some people like, what? How the heck could I have? Because you was on the same frequency as them. When we have these ideas and we be thinking and we keep on thinking the same exact thoughts. And by the way, your thoughts, those are not your thoughts. Okay. The thoughts that you continuously think, those are not your thoughts. Those thoughts have been handed down to you. Okay. You think the way you think based upon your upbringing. All right. And if you don't change the way you think, nothing in your life is going to change. And you can just look at your family. Okay, you can look at your family, because we all have the same exact pathology when it comes to our families and stuff like that. And not for nothing, when you get past culture, people are generally the same. But when you start understanding that, I think you think the way you think because that's perhaps how your mama thought. That's perhaps how your daddy thought. That's perhaps how your grandfather, grandmother thought. And so when I say those thoughts, not even your thoughts, they're not your thoughts. You've been programmed to think that way. And so some people, they feel like a black cloud is always over them. They feel like, life is out to get them. Okay. They feel like they could never do anything right. And where all that thinking and all those negative thoughts came from? It came from your upbringing when you was a little kid. Okay? You've been programmed to think you could never do anything right. You've been programmed to think that you could never be successful. You've been programmed to think that, to live a mediocre life. You've been programmed to think these things. And as long as you think those thoughts, okay, and oftentimes you just moving into action. You're not questioning why you do some of the things you do. You just move into action. Don't even question it. Don't even contemplate like, why do I, you never sit down and say, why do I do some of it I do? Why do I do some of the I do? You ever ask yourself that? Okay. Because I know I remember somebody had told me this because I used to say, I've been like this. I always been like this. And this person said, just because you always been like that, that does not mean it's right. Okay. But up until that point, okay, and even past that point, I just thought, well, I've been this way. And this is the way it is. This is the way I always been. This is the way I have to be. And that's just it. If you keep saying you've been that way, and I like to say the ones that normally say they've been that way, somewhere they really want change, but they just don't know how to. They just don't know. They just don't know. It's like, you overthinking it, right? Like you really want something different to occur in your life, you just don't know where to start. Okay. So, and you know what's so funny about this book, The Magic of Thinking Big? When I was about to order the book, I was contemplating because some of the books pertaining to personal development, a few of them have been like somebody had remade them, rewrote the book or whatever it is. And I was on the bus and I was like, oh my goodness, I want the original of the magic of thinking big, right? I want the original. And I guess this is I want to say, hold on, chill, because normally it is saying like if this book it was like remixed, so to speak. One second. But as it looks pretty old, so I want to say, it wasn't remixed. Okay, I want to say it wasn't remixed, but this is so good because it have in here, if you want to cure yourself of failure disease or anything like that, exquisites, build confidence and destroy fear. Okay. Friends mean well when they say it's only our imagination. Don't worry, there's nothing to be afraid of. But you and I know this kind of fear medicine never really works. Such soothing remarks may give us fear relief for a few minutes or maybe even a few hours. But the it's only in your imagination treatment doesn't really build confidence and cure fear. Yes, fear is real, and we must recognize it exists before we can conquer it. Most fear today is psychological. Worry, tension, embarrassment, panic, or stem from mismanaged negative imagination. But simply knowing the breeding ground of fear doesn't cure fear. If a physician discovers you have an infection in some part of your body, he doesn't stop there. He proceeds with treatment to cure the infection. The old is only in your mind treatment presumes fear doesn't really exist, but it does. Fear is real. Fear is success enemy. Ooh, child, I gotta do a real on that. Okay. Fear is success and honey, it don't get no better than this, okay? Fear is success enemy. How about that? All right. And that's why I keep telling you guys. Go get these books. Okay? Go get these books. All right? And this is another thing. Because this is getting so juicy and good. Okay. This is like the steak with the potatoes. Okay. Listen, this is another thing I want you to understand. I want you to get this. If you don't get nothing else from me, Linda, just get this. Okay. Listen, you have to understand, right? Because sometimes we feel like, oh, I read the book, but I'm still doing the same exact thing. Or sometimes you may say, like, yesterday I had a moment, but you may still feel like, oh well, I'm not fully cured, or I'm not fully, doing the thing what the book says. And that is the power of repetition. Okay. You have to continuously read it over and over and over and over again. Let me tell you something. Okay, let me share this with you guys. All right. Let me share this with the people in the back. Oh, hey, Em. Hey, girl. So listen, this book right here, the Prosperity Bible. One second. Okay. This book right here, the Prosperity Bible. Okay. It done been through some things. The thing done came up, but that's okay. All right. This book, okay, it is so good. I absolutely love this book. Love it. Okay. Now, I read this book all these times. Okay. Well, actually more than 7 times I read this part alone, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. Okay. I read this book so many times, okay? So many times. And you know what? You know what? Somebody will say, well, you only need to read it once. Let me tell you something about repetition, okay? And yes, I write the definitions. If I don't know the word, honey, no shame in my game. I put it right up at the top and I write the doggone definition out with it, okay? All right? But this is the thing. This is the thing, okay, about repetition. The way that we had learned things, okay, it was through repetition, right? If you grew up in a household where as though money was talked about, right? Like in a way, you felt like the ends never were met, okay, so to speak, with money, right? Now, you didn't just hear that one time, right? You didn't just hear your mother or your father or whomever raised you. You didn't hear them talk about money just once, right? Like, oh, well, they don't have that much money to pay this, or they don't have, like, you didn't hear that one time. You kept hearing that, okay? You kept hearing that over and over and over again, right? Because we have been conditioned to allow the outside, what's showing up in our lives from the outside, to allow it to control and dictate exactly where we're going in life, okay? So when you say, I just read it once, I read the book once, okay, that is not enough of times, because one time, every time I read the book, and I remember hearing successful people say this, right? They'll say, every time you read the book, you will see something new in the book, right? And it doesn't mean that that thing just appeared new, right? The reason you will see something new in a book is because it's like you are becoming a new person. So every time, like we can't, I'm looking for a word. Oh, we can't relate to something if we're not in harmony with it, right? Like you can't relate to something if if you never experience, like for instance, right? I remember hearing Zig Ziglar say this, okay? And if you guys don't know who Zig Ziglar is, I'm gonna need you to get with it, okay? I'm gonna need you to go right on YouTube on here, okay? And look up Zig Ziglar, okay? Where you been at? Okay, but anyway, so Zig Ziglar said, I don't know if it was in Africa or if it was like an Indian tribe. He said they don't have the word stutter in their vocabulary. And, Zig Ziglar, he very, very funny, when he would do his speeches, like, personal development, seminars and stuff like that. Okay, very, very funny. And one of the things Zig Ziglar said was, he said, if you don't have it in your vocabulary, hey, you gonna stutter, right? And it's true, because if you can't relate to, if you when the words ain't coming out, okay, if you cannot relate to something, if you never experienced it, okay, like how could you relate to something if like if I'm reading a book, right? And certain things they talking about, whatever. Okay. Why are you laughing? Oh my goodness. So if I'm reading a book, right? And then the book is, saying, happiness and, all these different things, like, oh, you could be happy today, right? And say, for instance, this person is so goddamn miserable. Let's take me at the equator. Okay, take me out. Okay, and out of the equator. Let's just say somebody else is reading a book. Okay, right now this person is reading a book, and they so negative, right? They so miserable, right? And they reading a book And in the book, it's talking about happiness, about prosperity, is talking about, having a blissful life, all these different things. And the person that's miserable, they only going to pick up certain parts of the book, certain parts of, of the book. But once they start getting in harmony and on their frequency, and they start being happy, they'll be like, they'll start reading it and they like, oh my goodness. It's like synchronicities, right? Like the universe speaking, oh my goodness, this book, this book has been talking about happiness, right? But they couldn't relate to it because they wasn't in harmony with it. I hope that makes sense. I know it makes sense. Okay. So the same as that concept. So that's the purpose of you rereading a book over and over and over again, because you want to start reprogramming your subconscious mind. I told you guys, right? When I was on Facebook, okay, and I remember I had did a video, and it was this phenomenal sister, okay? And I remember, I had met her when I was doing Lyft. Okay, I picked her up from her job because she said she was just getting off and stuff. And I remember I dropped her off, and me and her started talking like while she was in my car. And as me and her was talking, I told her I do social media and stuff like that. So she started following me, on Facebook and stuff like that. And real cool, real cool. She started following me on social media. And one day I remember I made this statement. I said, if you don't change, like if you don't change the programming, you are going to be like your mama, right? And I just made that, it wasn't towards her, it was just a general statement, okay? And I know some people will say, well, I don't want to be nothing like my mama. I don't want to be nothing like my daddy. I don't want to be nothing like, anybody in my family. But let me tell you something, okay? If you don't reprogram your mind, okay, because you're not a minor anymore. You're not a kid anymore, okay? You're not a child, okay? A kid really means goat. But you're not a child anymore. You're not a child anymore, okay? So, because a part of me like, is it go? Getting sidetracked. You're not a child. You're not a child anymore, okay? And you have the ability to reprogram your subconscious mind. It's up to you, okay? It's up to you if you are going to reprogram your subconscious mind. But one of the things that you have to understand is, if you don't reprogram your subconscious mind, you're just going to keep getting the same exact thing from life. And also, when I made that statement, like you're going to be just like your mother or your father if you don't do nothing different. She said, the young lady, she said, I will never be like my mother. And I said, you will, right? You will. A part of me sometimes it's like, Dina, maybe you shouldn't tell them that, right? But the realness comes out and say, no, you are going to be like your mama, your daddy, or whomever. And they say at times, and they say, no, I'm not, right? And so I asked her, I said, so what are you doing different? What are you doing different than what your mama done? Like what work have you done on yourself to make sure that you won't end up or be anything like your mama? And she said, I haven't. And that's my point exactly. Okay? That's my point exactly. Because whatever you focus on, if you constantly say, I don't want to be like nobody in my family, you're going to be just like them, because that's where all your energy and attention going towards. You got to focus on, I had a good friend, right? And this good friend, she would talk to me about the guys that was in her life, right? How they would cheat, they would do all these different things. And I remember this good friend, I told her, I said, listen, right? I said, what type of guy do you want? Right? Because she was focusing, saying about this guy who she was with. So I said, what type of guy do you want? And the first thing immediately she starts saying all the qualities that she don't want. Oh, I don't want a cheater. I don't want a liar. I don't want somebody that, is gonna pretty much say they don't have time. Okay. And one of the things I told her, I said, you cannot focus on what you don't want. I said, you see why you keep getting what you don't want? Because I asked you, what do you want? And immediately you told me all the stuff that you don't want. And is programming, okay? It's programming. Because if you don't believe me, if you go down the street, okay, when you walking or anywhere, or even with some of your friends, you can ask them, what you want from life? I guarantee you, majority of the times they will tell you all the things that they don't want from life. And that's exactly why it keep on showing up. That's exactly why they keep on getting the things that they say they don't want from life, because that's what they're focusing on. It's almost like this. You know how you say, you keep thinking, oh, you're gonna crash, and voila, okay, that prophecy gets fulfilled because that's where all your attention and energy was going. Okay. The same as that concept, when you like, oh, I gotta pee real bad, and then you start doing the pee dance or whatever it is, and then for some cases, some people tend to pee on themselves. Okay, okay, they tend to pee on themselves. Why? Because that's all they kept on thinking about. Okay, they was not thinking about them getting in the house and being able to use the bathroom. They was actually thinking about, oh, I gotta pee so bad, they gonna pee on themselves, and guess what? It becomes a prophecy that is fulfilled. And so the same is that concept when I say, if you don't want your life to continuously go in the same exact direction that it has been going in for so many years, for so long, okay? And another thing, pain is a good thing, because that means that you are ready for something different. That means you are ready for growth, okay? When you are experiencing pain. When some people are in relationships, they like, oh my goodness, I hate being in this relationship. Well, if it wasn't for that relationship, friend, okay, chances are you would not be in a different and you pee. Chances are you would not be married probably right now. Chances are you would not be with somebody different, right? If it wasn't for that toxic relationship, if it wasn't for that relationship that made you feel like, that this person don't love me, it wouldn't have made you feel like I have to start loving myself. And not for nothing, okay? If when you was a child, if you felt like your parents didn't love you, right? And you just was like, oh my goodness, I just want them to love me. Why can't they love me? Why can't they accept me and stuff like that? One of the lessons, or a few lessons, that it may be teaching you or teaching us, okay, is to love ourselves, is to accept ourselves. Because there's no way that you are going to be able to attract someone that accept themselves, and you want people to accept you if you don't accept yourself. That's how this universe is. It's not going to give you something because you cried, begged, plead, or you was on your knees, praying or whatever it is. No, it's not going to give you something different because you did those things. You have to actually change, okay? You have to actually change in order for anything in your life to change, okay? So with that being said, highly recommend you guys get this book, okay? The Magic of Thinking Big, okay? Hey, Philip, peace to you, baby. Peace to you, peace to you, peace to you. Okay, and like I said, I guess this is like a throwback book. Okay, I think this is a throwback. I think this is the original. Okay, because it is old. Okay, you can tell it's old when those pages start looking yellow. Okay, or like the pages at the top be faded. Okay. So yeah, so rock out, believe in yourself. I'm about to read the science of Getting Rich by Wallace Watlers. I've been talking about this book for a while now. No excuses, no excuses. Oh, I'm trying to get the book. I don't have money right now or whatever it is like that. You know what? YouTube have it, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Watlers, whereas though it is an audio, okay? They actually read the book. They read the book to you, okay? So there's no excuses. The only excuses are the ones that you keep on telling yourself. And you know what? Your life ain't finna change if you ain't doing anything different. So you could give all those excuses and say, you know what, Dina, I ain't got time. I hear what you're saying and it sounds so good. Okay, but girl, I ain't got time for all that, right? But you got time to go to the bar. Yeah, let's talk about it. Oh, she laughing. You got time to go to the bar. In fact, you don't only go to one bar. You do bar hopping. Okay? You do bar hopping. Okay? You hop to different bars. Okay? You be all up in the bars drinking your liquor, getting drunk, passed out, okay, having blackouts, some of you guys, okay? Some of you guys, okay? And then you come and you say, but I don't like my life. That's what you say. By running away from your problems is not going to help. You could run like Forrest Gump or you want to, okay? But that ain't finna help you. You gonna have to look at whatever is showing up and face it, okay? And let me tell you something. You are a giant. It's not like you're not capable. You are very much so capable. You have to face it. You have to face the fear. That thing, I was on the phone earlier with a lady, she was calling, she works at Big Brother Big Sister, okay? Yes, honey, far is Forrest for me. Honey, I'm tired, but it's Forrest for me. Okay, all right. Listen. So earlier I was on the phone with this young lady, very nice, very kind. Okay, I don't like saying nice too much because nice actually means foolish. But listen, so I was on the phone with this lady, right? And me and her was talking, and I was telling her, about my goals and stuff like that, and how I hit my goals, and and then I'm on to new goals, right? But I was telling her how I became monetized on here, and all these different things, right? And so she was saying that she she was like, oh, it sounds like, it sounds like you should be a life coach, right? And I was like, I gave thought to that before, but, I said maybe later on down the line or whatever. And so she started telling me that she wants to be a life coach. And so one of the things she started saying was, she was like, but I got to do research. I get it. I really get it. Why people say they have to do research, why people say they have to do this and they have to do that. Okay. I get that. But your experience is enough. And that's what I told her. I said, people oftentimes they say they have to do research, they have to look all this stuff up because of fear. They procrastinate. You are procrastinating because of fear. You don't want to jump. I said, I tell people to jump in and do it. Don't don't look it up. Okay? You looking this stuff up and then you still gonna, and all of that is programming, by the way. All of that is that monkey in that mind telling you all this stuff. Because if you look one thing up and you get the answer, then you're gonna be saying, oh, but what does that mean? Oh, but no, just jump and do it. You have to jump and do it. And so many, oh, because I don't want to fail. Imagine me opening that business and it go to flop. Let me tell you something. The quickest way to success is failure. Okay? You have to fail forward and stop being so afraid of failing, of it flopping, of it not working, okay? Because it's those times, those moments when it don't work, when it do flop, when it comes crumble into pieces or whatever. It's those moments that are teaching you lessons, okay? But by you saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna," let me just get some more information. Information is not the issue. Information is not the issue. You know what the issue is? You getting up off your rump. Okay? That is the issue. And I know some people may say, but you on your rump. Okay? I know somebody out there probably like, yeah, but you on your rump. Okay? This is a well-deserved sitting on the rump. Okay? All right? But you have to understand that if you don't get up, if you don't do something, nothing is ever going to change. Nothing. Okay? Now, you could be that person 5 years from now, living in regret, saying, "Oh my goodness, I should have did X, Y, and Z," and you never did it. You never imagine it. 5 years, 10 years go past, and you had the ability to do this stuff, but you never did it. You never took the leap out. And that's what I told the lady. I said, you got to take the leap out on faith. I said, so many people say they have faith, but do they really have faith? Okay. And when I say have faith, I'm talking about believing in themselves, believing in the unknown, knowing things are going to work out for them. Because, not for nothing. Some people have faith, but it's going in the opposite direction. It's going in, some people would say, well, I knew it never will work out for me. What? Why would you say that? And then you surprised when it don't work out for you? What in the hookah are you smoking? Okay? Because if you say you knew it wasn't going to work out for you, when people say stuff like that, they wasn't even fully committed to it. It was like they had I wouldn't even say the whole foot in. They had they had like a toe in the game and trying something new. But they wasn't fully committed because look what they say. I knew it wouldn't work out for me. Why would you say you knew it wasn't going to work out for you? Programming. Yeah, that's what it is. So if you sick of that, honey, we don't be around those type of people. We don't be around those type of folks. Okay? All right? So, if you want to change your thinking, okay? The magic of thinking big. This reminds me of that guy who was at the gas station. He was telling that girl, or was it outside the girl window? And he was like, B, you got to think big, B. You thinking too small. And that's the truth. Because some of you guys, you thinking too small. Okay? Like the book says. Let me see where, if I can find that part again. Okay. Believe big. Okay? Let's just read that part again. Believe big, not little. Okay? Believe big. The size of your success is determined by the size of your belief. You can always tell if a person believes in themselves or not. Yeah. By how big they are willing to play. By how big they are willing to play. Okay? I like the boys that's willing to play big. Okay? All right? Now, it says, believe big. The size of your success is determined by the size of your belief. Think little goals and expect little achievements. Think big goals and win big success. Remember this too. Big ideas and big plans are often easier. And you know what? That book, it goes right along with this one, with the science of getting rich, because it says the same exact thing. It says the same exact thing. You know, sometimes people, they ask for small. They ask for small things, you know. Like, oh God, could you give me, and I wouldn't even, they, oftentimes, you know, people be begging for whatever it is that they desire. Okay? And this is what it says. Let me see if I can find it. Because it talks about Jesus. And it says, oh, you need not hesitate about asking largely. It is your Father's pleasure to give you the kingdom, said Jesus. But that's not, it was another part. Hold on, child. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. No, I can't. Let me not say I can't. Oh, they hold to so much of this erroneous thought that they feel ashamed to ask for wealth. They try not to want more than a very modest competence, just enough to make them fairly comfortable. Okay, and then it goes on talking about a student. But let's read this part. Oh, okay. It is God that worketh in you to will and to do, said Paul. The desire you feel for riches is the infinite seeking to express himself in you as he sought to find expression in the little boy at the piano. So it talks about little boy at the piano. So you need not hesitate to ask largely. Your part is to focalize and express the desire to God. This is a difficult point with most people. They retain something of the old idea that poverty, oh yeah, let's talk about this. Poverty and self-sacrifice are pleasing to God. You know, sometimes people say, you know, well, if God wanted, must be what God wanted. God wanted me to be this way. You know, God, you know, some people really believe that God wants them to struggle. Why would you, but it's programming. I know, because you know what? I used to be the same as that person. I used to say, God, if God not going to put anything on my plate I can't bear. And honey, I was the one putting all the, I was the person going to the buffet eating, like in the words of Abraham Hicks, hey, Tracy, peace to you, baby, peace to you, peace to you, peace to you. I was the person going to the buffet, putting all the stuff on my plate. In the words of Abraham Hicks, going to the buffet, putting all the stuff that I don't eat on my plate. That's what I was doing. That's what I was doing. And so many people do that, you know. And then you say, well, God, if God didn't want me, you know, to suffer, he wouldn't ever put this on the plate. But you went to the buffet, my love. You went to the buffet and put all that stuff that you don't eat, that you say you don't like, on your plate. That's a metaphor, by the way, because you know what? Some people there say, you know, God ain't gonna put nothing on my plate. I can't bear it. But you keep hanging around those people. You keep being around them. And you see exactly when you get around them. They gossip. Talk about everybody and their mama. Okay? They always talking about why life isn't working for the, oh my goodness. Me just thinking about that is making me sleepy. Okay. Me just talking, I'm getting sleepy just talking about that, okay? All right? You see exactly how these people are, but what do you do? What do you do? You keep being around them. And then you say, well, if God didn't want this, I wouldn't. No, that's not how this here thing works. You know, so many people, oh, it's the devil that made me do it. The what? The what? People would prefer to blame deities outside themselves and say it's because of this, it's because of that, just so they won't take accountability for their own lives. And let me tell you something. If you're not taking accountability for your life, chances are you are waiting for somebody else to come change your life. And chances are you are waiting for somebody to probably apologize to you about, how they did wrong to you, how they wronged you, and all this other stuff. And let me tell you something. Sometimes you may never receive that apology. So you just waiting and allowing your life just to pass, time just to pass. And I know time is an illusion, but you just wait and wait and wait and sitting around. Oh, well, when this person apologized to me, that's when things gonna change. You know you don't need to wait for them to apologize, right? You could start changing, right? You know you can start doing something different now, right? You don't have to wait for them. Because as long as you are waiting, time is ticking. Okay? It's just going. You just sitting there waiting. Why wait for somebody to apologize to you? Why wait for somebody to do for you? And not for nothing. Some people, oh well, I want my man to buy me. He ain't buy me no darn roses or no flowers. But why didn't you do it for yourself? Why didn't you do it for yourself? Because if you start doing it for yourself, it's almost like hint, hint, right? It's almost like, you know, but don't be expecting someone to do something for you that you're not willing to do for yourself. That's another thing. Okay. All right, family, I gotta go. Okay. Oh, let's look at this. Set your goals high and then exceed them. Okay. All right. You got to show up for you. You have to show up for you. You have to really show up for you. And a few years ago, I used to say, oh, I don't read. And I ain't got time to read. I had time to watch the Lifetime movies. And I used to be one of those people. I used to be one of those people that say, you mean to tell me my life never gonna change? Okay, I used to be one of those. Okay? I used to be one of those. And then guess what? I started picking up the books. I started reading the books. But I told you guys I had a dream, right? I had a dream a few years after I had my spiritual awakening. And I'm going to just recap on this story real quick, okay? I was living in this sky rise, I think you call it, okay? And it was like a condo, like condos, and it was a family that lived right across. Okay, like right across. Like if I look out the window, I can see this family. Like it was like we was on the same level, like on the same floor, but they was in a different building. And it was a father and a son. And they was like Indian descent. They had all these books on the shelf. Like all these books in my dream, all these books on the shelf. But I couldn't make out the title what books was on the shelf because it was covered. The books was covered, like it had like this cloth book cover, right? That was like orange and red. You know, the same exact color that the Alchemist book has, okay, by Pablo Coelho. And I remember I was looking, but just couldn't make out, didn't know which books, what the books, but they had so many books. And after that, I had that dream, and in the dream it had a cow in there. It had like so much stuff in there. And I had went on this website. I don't even remember the website. I just typed dream interpreters, right? Because I wanted somebody to interpret my dream, and the lady, she was breaking it down and all this other stuff. But after that, I never thought that I would be like buying so many books because remember, I used to be a person that said, I don't have time to read, right? And you could know how to read, but not reading is just as bad as not knowing how to read. Yeah, that's what they say. That's what they say. They say not reading is just as bad as not knowing how to read. Yeah, that's what they say. Okay. All right. So it's no excuses. It's no excuses. A book isn't your kryptonite. Okay. What you think the book gonna do? All right. A book isn't gonna grab you and and do you like a mollywop or mollywop you on the or around on the floor. It's not gonna do that till you shook a foot. Okay? You gotta pick up that book. Because look, when I read the book, and it's funny, earlier I was in the bathroom, I was washing my hands, and I was like, oh my goodness, the books are like my friends. I know somebody like, damn, the book is like your friends, because like books are really movies, by the way. It's like a movie, because when you read the book, you create like your imagination, like it takes you places, right? You start like the characters in a book, you start imagining them, right? Seeing them and creating them the way you feel like they should look, or the way you think they should look, and things of that nature. So you gotta pick it up. Pick the book up. Okay? Pick it up. Yeah, that's what they say. That's what those success folks say. Okay? That's what we say. Let me put myself in here. That's what we say, okay? Not reading is just as bad. Not reading is just as bad as not knowing how to read. And this is another thing. In this book, The Prosperity Bible, it talks about this as well. It talks about mental growth. And it also in a book, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wallace, it talks about reading books and having time to read them and pretty much dissect them. But you have to, I don't know why so many people say they don't have time to do X, Y, and Z, but the thing that you have time for is not giving you a return on investment. It's not doing hardly nothing for you. Like you going to the bar and stuff and getting drunk. I mean, what is that doing for you? It's going to take you away from your current reality for a few hours, and then tomorrow you wake up with a hangover, with a headache, and then you probably feel even worse. So you have to ask yourself, like, is it worth it? Like what I'm doing currently right now, will my future self thank me for it? And whatever you do, I mean, is a lesson in everything. It's a lesson in everything. Sometimes we need to go through those lessons. I'm not going to say sometimes, but we need to go through those lessons in order for us to see exactly what it is that we do want. All right. So with that being said, it's 10:10. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Keep rocking out. Keep believing in yourself. Keep going. Keep growing. And of course, you see the face. You see the face is glowing. Okay? It's glowing. Okay? And pick up a book. Pick up a book. You know, it doesn't have to be a thick book. And you could read something that is probably a paragraph. Just one paragraph. Okay? If you do that each and every day, one paragraph each and every day, you'll be amazed. You'll be surprised how your life is starts changing. But you got to apply the information. Just don't, just read for the sake of reading. You got to apply it. Applied knowledge is the best. And with that being said, I catch you guys on the next one. Peace.